Well, I almost did it. I was real tempted and I almost pulled the trigger on this. Hey guys, Ken here. Welcome back to the channel. Well, as the title suggests, I almost did it. I was tempted. I almost pulled the trigger on this. You know, I've been selling postcards now for about close to 5 years. It's been really successful and I'm very happy with how it's been going. You know, I was thinking the other day, is there something else I could sell that is just as profitable and just as desirable that could make some more money, you know, because we're always looking to improve our bottom lines. Now, as I've stated in other videos, you know, in the terms of postcards are like the third most collectible item in the entire world behind coins and stamps. I don't know which one is first and which one is second there, but I think, I'm guessing probably coins is number one. And a lot of people sell coins on eBay. And I took a hard, long look at that. I've been looking at that over the last couple of days. I've been praying on it. My wife knows me better than anybody, and she knows that I'm a realist. And I look at the pros and the cons. And it has to have a lot of pros before I can pull the trigger on it. And as I took a deep dive look into selling coins on eBay, it was just coming up with too many cons. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with selling coins. A lot of people do it. Just for me, I wanted to do this video just to share my thoughts on this. Even with postcards, there's a learning curve. You know, you have to know the different eras, you have to know the different time periods, you have to know what types of postcards it is, you know, the names of them. It's a learning curve, but it's doable. You know, it's not overwhelming. And I was looking at coins and, oh my goodness, I never realized how much stuff you have to know to be accurate when you're describing coins. You got to describe the type of coin, what it's made of, you know, whether it's in circulation or not, where it's minted, the markings on it, you know, is it a coin? Is it bullion? Is it, you know, a wheat penny? I mean, there's just so many things I started, you know, discovering. And there were some terms that they were saying that you have to put in the title that I had no clue what they were even talking about. I would have to look it up, find out, what does this mean? What does this mean? I don't know. Even though selling coins can be very profitable on eBay, and a lot of people do it, I just looked at it, the amount of work, because, you know, coins aren't something you can run through a document scanner. Now, you can scan them on a flatbed scanner, you know, the top and bottom and everything. Or if you have a professional lighting setup, you can, you know, shoot it that way with a camera or your camera phone. I've always told people in photography, light is everything. And you got to have good lighting, because if you don't have good lighting, it's going to really deter for somebody from, you know, buying your coin. You know, so I looked at that. I looked at the shipping methods. One guy said he ships all his stuff eBay standard envelope. I don't think you can do that, because a coin has thickness to it, what they call girth, and it's not flat, even though he claims that it was flat, but it's not flat, you know, and that might come back to you because of that, because that's one of the rules for eBay standard envelope. It's got to be perfectly flat because it goes through the U.S. Post Office's high-speed machines. It's got to be able to be bendable. It's got to be able to turn corners. And when you got solid coins in there, I don't know if that's possible. So if I was going to do it, you know, I decided not to do it, by the way. You probably guessed by now. But I'm just kind of stating to you the reasons why. But if I was going to do it, I probably would just factor in USPS Ground Advantage, whether it's $5 or whatever, and just use the free shipping filter and just calculate the cost of that shipping into the cost of the item, you know. But there were other things, you know. I think there's a higher risk of getting scammed. Now, I have some coins in my pocket here. Let's see if I can pull one out. I think I got a nickel in here. I don't keep a lot of change in my pockets. Yeah, this is just a standard nickel. It's not a buffalo nickel, not an Indian head nickel. I mean, this is what, you know. And then if there's somebody's image on the coin, you got to know who it is. You know, you got to be able to figure that out. And then, like I said, you got to really, really examine this stuff, like, you know, for certain markings or for certain, when it was minted, you know, stuff they forgot to mark on it, or, you know, if they forgot to put a date. Or I learned that a D means Denver, Colorado, where it was minted. I think an S means San Francisco. You got to know that stuff. I mean, there's just, to me, a huge learning curve. And like I said previous, I think there's a higher risk of getting scammed, because think about it. Let's say you're selling a coin and you've determined that you think this thing is worth $500, and you sell it to somebody for $500. Well, let's say they're not an expert, and they take it to an expert. They take it to a dealer, or they take it to a coin show or something. Somebody that really knows this, has been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years, and is really expert in this. And they look at that and they go, how much did you pay for this? And you say $500, and they like, this is worth about $10. You got scammed. And it's just so easy to get scammed, because either the people that are pricing this stuff, some people don't know what they're doing, and they're just picking a number out of their head, based on maybe the year. I saw one wheat penny that was advertised on eBay, and it was dated 1912, which is turn of the century. It's over 100 years old, and maybe they thought, hey, this is a valuable penny. And they had it up for sale for $6,000. And he looked at his pricing guides, because you got to have pricing guides, and he said, this coin isn't worth more than $8 or $10. And he's trying to sell it for $6,000. Good luck with that, And then even, let's say you even find something that's rare, say it's worth $500 or more, and you sell it to somebody, and they get it, and they have it validated, and they say, yep, it's worth $500. They'll take that coin, and let's say it's a Buffalo nickel, and they'll go back to eBay and say, hey, I was scammed, and if I don't get my money back, I'm going to sue you, because I paid $500 for this and I got scammed. Well, you think eBay is going to side with the seller on that one? Probably not. They're going to side with the buyer, because they don't want to get sued. So they're going to give the buyer their money back immediately, okay? Even before the seller gets it, okay? Because eBay controls payments now. So then what the buyer does is he takes out an ordinary nickel, like I had in my pocket, and he'll just put that in an envelope and ship that back to him. So basically he's shipping back a nickel that's not the same nickel that he was sold, and now he's got your valuable coin, and he's going to either flip that or, there's just too much of a risk, I think. And this is just me speaking, okay? Whether you choose to sell coins on eBay or not is entirely up to you. I'm giving you my thought process, because I always try to look at, like I said, the pros and cons, and it has to have a lot more pros, and I'm just coming up with not enough pros to pull the trigger on this one. And if you get too many cancellations, that's going to affect your metrics. And I had an instance a little while ago, a couple of months ago, where I had like 4 cancellations in 1 week because of an eBay glitch. We finally determined it was an eBay glitch in the system. And the thing is, but it I got dinged on my account 4 times in a week, and that killed my metrics. I mean, I lost my top-rated seller status, and I couldn't get it back for a month, because they reevaluate your accounts every month, and mine gets reevaluated on the 20th of every month. I did get my status back, but you run into stuff like that, and you've really got to know what you're doing when it comes to selling coins. Because there are experts out there, just like there are experts with postcards, that really understand this, that have been in this 20, 30, 40 years maybe. And for me, I just decided to stay in my own lane and just stick to postcards. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I know there's people out there selling postcards that's been at it, 40 years. But, I know enough about it to be safe and to know what I'm doing as far as selling somebody and not misrepresenting my product, so you don't get an item not as described claim against you. I would take at least a year and learn about how to sell coins. I know that seems a little drastic, maybe 6 months, I don't know, but I would probably take a year and learn as much as you can about the industry before you sell your first coin. You want to come off confident, you want to come off like you know what you're doing. I just looked at it, and I decided I'm just going to stay in my lane and do what I kind of know what I'm doing. So, but those are my thoughts on it. Those are just some of the things that I thought as I was considering doing this. I hadn't told my wife Kim yet. I was planning on doing that, but I wasn't going to tell her until I had really thought this through. And I know she's going to watch this video and she'll realize it now, but you know, it's not that I was hiding anything from her, wanting to do anything behind her back or anything. It's just that I really wanted to weigh this out and determine, hey, is this something I really want to pursue? And you know, even photographing them, I'm a professional photographer. I know what it takes to light what they call still lifes, and this is considered a still life, okay? And I know how to do it properly. When you're photographing something like a coin, you have to do it with what they call a one-to-one wash. It's basically a soft light that hits every area of the coin flat. You know, you have to photograph it that way to actually make it look good. Because as you know, on eBay, pictures are important. So you have to look into that, and whether you have to invest in equipment for that. Or, I know you don't have to, but you know, if you're going to do it right. And there's just too many things. You know, I thought about I may have to invest in more shipping supplies and different types of plastic bags to put them in. And if I was going to ship items like this, I wouldn't even think about sending it eBay standard envelope. I would put it, I would figure out the shipping according to USPS Ground Advantage, and it'd probably be around $5.50. And I would just factor that into the price of the item and use the free shipping and do it that way. And that way at least I could ship it in a bubble mailer or something, put it between two pieces of cardboard maybe, I don't know. And then put it in a bubble mailer and it would be safe. But that's the way I would do it. It would just, the amount of work, extra work it would be, you'd have to set up a whole new inventory system just for that. I mean, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'll admit it. I know, my mind probably thinks I'm a 20, but my body knows that I'm 67. So it's like, I just thought about that and I'm like, you know what? I'll just stick to postcards. Now, if you can handle that kind of thing, if you can handle the extra workload, if you want to handle the research and the knowledge and the learning curve, you're going to have to go for it. You know, I mean, it can be very profitable. You know, even if you sell a valuable coin for thousands of dollars, good luck getting paid. You know, I see this all the time on eBay. People bid on stuff. They bid on, oh, this coin sold for $150,000. Yeah, good luck getting paid. You may have won the auction. You may have sold the item. Sometimes buyers just think, I ain't got $150,000. I'm not going to pay for this. And they just let it go the 4 days and it just doesn't get paid. And then eBay slaps them on the wrist with a ding on their account or whatever. And you just move on. You know, so I mean, I don't even go into the high end on postcards. I know some postcards sell for thousands of dollars. I won't even go there. It's because you can get scammed too easily. So I kind of stick to the middle of the road. Even on my RPPCs, I don't go too high. But you know, it's something. This is a subject that you might want to think about. And I hope that maybe what I've conveyed, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying be aware that I think there are a lot more variables and a lot greater learning curve on coins than there are on postcards. And that's why I decided I'm going to stay in my own lane and I'm just not going to go there. But I'd like to know your thoughts on it. You know, if you sell coins, hey, maybe you can provide some insight in the comments below on how, you know, you do your operation and what you look for. You know, maybe you can enlighten us on something that maybe I didn't touch on or something. But I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I figured since I was thinking about this, I figured this would be a good topic to do, you know, a video on. So, as always, you know the drill. If you got anything out of this video, smash that like button. It helps the channel. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go. But you guys have a great day. And we'll see you on the next video. Take care. And bye for now.